Good morning. Happy Sunday, everybody. Man, it is Wimbledon final day for men. Yesterday, the women's final was embarrassing and humiliating for Amanda Anisimova. 6-0, 6-0. First time in the Open era. First time since 1911 in Wimbledon. Pretty sad, but yeah, she made a final. First time she's been in a Grand Slam final. We've got the men's final today. I'm excited. I'll be watching that as well. Uh, This is my weekly Clearing the Bases episode where I cover all the items that are interesting, that were interesting to me in the past week, that are hobby related, mostly sports cards, a little bit of collectibles. Make sure you're subscribed. Do this every single Sunday. And yeah, we're going to jump right in. Before I start, though, I have uh, this week, I should be starting to move into my new office/hobby room this week, which I'm very excited about. And I'm going to do a video as soon as it's cleared out and it's empty. I'm going to do a video where I just show what it looks like before I start. I'm going to do some painting and some other minor things in there. So let's jump into the video. I think this one's a little bit shorter than it usually is. Okay. We're going to start in a weird spot. This is not sports card related, but it'll be quick. Bobby Jenks passed away this past week. Sad story. Bobby Jenks finished his career, I believe, if I remember correctly, with the Red Sox. Uh, this tweet from ESPN says Bobby Jenks, a two-time All-Star pitcher for the Chicago White Sox, who was on the roster when the franchise won the 2005 World Series, died on Friday. Now, this is there are a lot of people who are very upset about this. Here's the reason why. He wasn't just on the roster. When you're on the roster when a World Series is won, it means that you had no impact on it. It means you were just part of the team. But he had an outstanding postseason. He was on the mound. He saved that final game, clinched the World Series. He pitched in that postseason 8 innings. If we go to his playoffs here, uh, 8 innings, gave up 2 earned runs, 7 base runners for an 8.875 whip. He had 4 saves, including the World Series clinching. He was not just on the roster, ESPN. All right, moving on to cards. This guy, Bryce, I don't know who this is. Bryce Snape says, need help, hobby fam. Retweet. He bought a raw card for $5,000. So it went through eBay authentication. It's past eBay authentication, which of course is with PSA. He also had it graded by PSA, and they gave it a PSA 8. Weeks later, they decertified the authentication. They said it was a fake. I'll show you the card. The card is this 1988, 1998 Clear Tradition Anfernee Hardaway Playmakers Theater. Uh, yeah, I mean, it's a cool card. I don't know why somebody's counterfeiting a Penny Hardaway card, although I know this is a very rare and desirable card. But they said that the uh, serial number indicated that it was fake. But this was weeks after they had put it through eBay authentication and passed it, and weeks after they graded it. And then they just decertified it. And he was hoping somebody would do something. And then he posted, "We did it. Ryan Hogue is doing something about it." He reached out and they were looking into it. And so everybody said, "Oh, this is great. PSA is going to make this right." But no, all PSA did was refund him the $150 grading fee, which came after they had already authenticated it through the eBay authentication program. So they're acknowledging, yeah, we shouldn't have let you grade this because we had already determined it was authentic and it actually wasn't. But nobody at eBay or PSA is making this right by refunding his $5,000. The seller doesn't have to because it passed eBay authentication. So the seller's off the hook. I get that. Unless the seller was the counterfeiter themselves, which who knows. His credit card won't do anything because it's more than 90 days after the purchase. And eBay and PSA won't do anything because it's more than 90 days out. So you are at risk when you purchase a card in, let's say, January, and then it goes through PSA in eBay authentication, it's graded, but then PSA says 3, 4, 5 months later, wait a second, actually, we said that was authentic. but now we know it's not. We're going to decertify it. You have no recourse according to this situation here, which doesn't feel right to me. There's eBay, PSA has their guarantee, but uh, they he explains here they aren't refunding it because they don't refund fake cards for the original submitter. They did refund the 150 grading fee, which seems uh, I don't know. It's very there's some sort of loophole that both PSA and eBay are using to avoid paying him his $5,000. We sincerely apologize for the situation, PSA said. Oh, so it's all better. Oh, yeah. You should just keep your cards raw and use the penny sleever who has the best supplies in the industry. Use my code JWH2025 for 10% off your first order. Card sleeves, top loaders, semi-rigids, and if you're grading, the greatest slab bags in the industry, in my opinion. Again, JWH2025 for 10% off your first order. Link is in the description of this video. Penny sleever, thepennysleever.com. All right, we have a weird one here. Panini Flawless, Caitlin Clark, rookie patch auto. Uh, this person couldn't even wait for the card to arrive. They just took screenshots, 5 screenshots of the break where it was pulled and sold it that way. Now, if you're the buyer, are you sure that this guy's the seller? Does he have it? Sold it $32,000 or best offer, and it ended up selling for $22,750, which you can see here on 130 point. And I thought, well, that's interesting. Could he have done better with a better photo? Because this is all he's got. But there's one right underneath it. Remember, this is numbered to 25, 2024 Panini Flawless Rookie Patch Auto, numbered to 25. Rookie Patch Auto Sapphire Flawless, numbered to 15. Virtually identical card, both horizontal, both with great patches. Sold for $400 less, even though it's numbered to 15. Well, that was 4 days later, 5 days later, but still, that was at auction. This was at buy it now. So I feel like he got a good deal on that. I wonder what it would have sold for if it had gone to auction. We'll never know. Well, maybe we will later. Will Stern posted this Tiger Woods rookie auto gold number to 100 sold for $28,000 on alt in May in a BGS 9 with an auto 10. They cracked it, and then 2 months later, we're selling it raw on eBay. We do not know what happened in the interim. Did they grade it with PSA? Did it come back with a bad grade? Did it come back not authentic? What happened in the interim? Or did they just say, "Hey, this is a BGS 9. I think I can sell it more raw," which is very possible. But that's not what happened. Remember, they bought it for 28.2 in May, sold it at auction for $24,000. So they lost $4,200 plus probably fees too. I thought this was a really interesting case. Let's close a few of these out. All right, we're going to get some really cool heritage items here. First of all, these all sold, I think, last night. 90 All-Star Game programs, complete run. Well, 87 All-Star Game programs. 1933 to 2022 All-Star Game programs. And these are works of art in many cases. Sold for $15,000 at auction. That's really neat. I feel like that's a really good deal. And then we have, I think I'm a little out of order. Yeah. So Adam Gray, who does a really nice job, especially with basketball cards. Friends don't let friends leave their autographs out. You've got a Michael Jordan SP Authentic 2005 PSA, which looks the autograph looks great. This one appears to have been left out in the sun, and the autograph has badly, badly faded. And because you might be able to get this very cheaply, and he might be right. With 14 hours to go, it's scheduled to end tonight. It's at 2,300, which feels very inexpensive for an MJ numbered autograph SP Authentic. So we'll see what that goes for. And that one again. And PSA, through all their flaws, is speeding up their turnaround time from 65 to 45 days. I guess when you're just saying everything is authentic when it comes in, instead of actually doing the work to authenticate, it's much easier. You can get it done quicker. I had to tie that together with the Penny Hardaway card. But this is only for value, not for bulk yet. And they say they're working on similar improvements for other tiers. 65 to 45 days feels like a nice improvement. Man, I guess I opened this one a bunch of times. 1917 E135 Collins McCarthy Babe Ruth in a Red Sox uniform, pitching or throwing, sold for almost $250,000. SGC5, $244,000. Cool. Very good card. Uh, Only one graded higher with SGC. That's the blank back version, as you can see there. Okay, huh, I had this all set up, and I had some glitches. Surprise, surprise. Let's let's come back to that. Already did this. We're gonna come back to this as well. Okay, I think I covered this last week. Jordan SGC10 86 Fleer with a Mike Baker authenticated sticker on it, and I wondered how close will this come to a PSA 10, which sell roughly $200,000. This one sold for $119,000, which is legitimately shocking that you can take it, you're taking 40% off a PSA just because it's in an SGC holder, even though it has this sticker on it, which is supposed to add value. So without that sticker, what would it have sold for? Maybe people looked at this and said, well, the edges tell me it's not going to get a 10 at PSA. I don't know, but I found that interesting. SGC, sorry, PSA 8, Joe DiMaggio, 1941 play ball. Great looking card. Sold for 110,000. Man, what a beauty. And then we have, I learned something new this week, and I'm sure a lot of you big time vintage collectors were already aware of this. Roger Maris's last name used to be spelled Maras, and he changed it. Here he is in a 1953 Fargo Moorhead Twins team issue card slash photo that he autographed, and he signed it Maras, and that's the way his name was spelled back then. PSA 3 with a 10 auto sold for 22.5. Pretty neat. Got that one again. Look at this Ted Williams, 49 Leaf SGC 8.5. Look at the color on that. Look at the centering. Man, Dunner sold for $32,000. Grossly undervalued. Ted Williams, very undervalued. All right. I think I talked about this, or maybe I tweeted about it. Joe DiMaggio, 1941 play ball. This is a 6. We talked about the 8 already that sold for 110,000. The 6 sold for 26,000. It looks great. It's very nicely centered, little off top to bottom, great color. But then we have this autograph, which is seems to be cut off a little bit. Gets an authentic. The coloring is poor, but it's got an autograph with an auto grade of 8, and it sold for $8,800. I would much rather have that autograph than I would the PSA 6. That's just me. Let me know what you think about this or anything else. Which would you rather have, or any of these other items? Give me your feedback. Jackie Robinson, PSA 9, none higher, pop 10. sold for $171,000. This was through Heritage. That's a fantastic card. One of the all-time greats. The Willie Mays collection at Hunt Auctions is coming this fall, selling a lot of his personal belongings. You've got a gold glove from 1963, a 1954 World Series ring, expected to fetch close to $1 million, warm-up jacket, Hall of Fame induction ring, Babe Ruth Sultan of SWAT Award for outstanding batting achievement, his 1954 batting champ silver bat award expected to fetch $250,000. A lot of really neat stuff. Then you've got a 1962 Giants home uniform photo matched at the MLB All-Star Game, autographed by Mays. A lot of really neat stuff. Okay. We just talked about an SGC 10. How about an SGC Pristine 10 with the gold label? This is coming up in Heritage this summer, I think in August. Let's see. They're expecting this to go for $800,000 or more. Pretty cool. Over $113,000 worth of rare Pokemon cards stolen from a New Bedford, Massachusetts store. You can see they've got this photograph. The thief covered themselves up very nicely. Going to be tough to identify who those are. First edition collectibles on Purchase Street in New Bedford, 60 miles outside downtown Boston. Bummer. Never good to see that type of thing. Tops, this guy or girl posted they bought a hanger and they ended up with cards like this. These are obviously error cards. There's nothing on cards. Everything's just like a template. And so many people in comments are saying those are really rare error cards. Those are really valuable. You can find somebody who will pay you top dollar for those. No, you can't. These you might be able to sell them for a couple bucks at best, but who's going to buy this? And a lot of people are comparing it to the 1990 tops. No name, Frank Thomas. But it's just not the case. There's no media circus. There's nothing that's driving the story behind these cards that make them popular or valuable or famous or anything like that. Just stupid mistakes by tops. These you're unlikely to find a buyer for these, at least not for much money. Oh, I wanted to go back here because there were a few items I wanted to cover. 1971 Topps baseball wax box. This is still in that Heritage auction. So for $119,000, 24 unopened packs. Then we had a Joe Jackson 1917 E135 Collins McCarthy, also blank back, like the Ruth was. SGC 5 Pop 1, none higher, sold for $104,000. And then we had the Mackie packages. I covered this last week, I think. 1967, 24 unopened packs sold for $79,000. And then there was one or two more things I wanted to cover in here. Here it is. Eddie Murray, PSA 10, 1978 O-Pee-Chee rookie card, sold for $41,000. Okay. Now we have this guy, Andy Kim, in Sports Card Nonsense, said, wipe your cards before you send it to get graded. He bought a Dunkin' Donuts EX Century Michael Jordan in a BGS slab, BGS 7. He felt that it had smudges on the card, and it's an acetate card, so it's easy to see. So he cracked it out. Remember, it's a BGS 7. And he sent it to PSA, and he got a PSA 10. And he claims all he did was wipe it down. The estimate, by the way, this is 10xing this card because estimates of the BGS 7 were about $1,500. PSA 10, more like 15,000. This guy writes, "What happened to cards being a hobby, and why are values dictated by eBay?" It's still a hobby for those of us who consider it a hobby. I love it as a hobby. Then why are values dictated by eBay? They're not. There's nobody at eBay that says these cards are worth this much. It's not a price guide at eBay. eBay is a marketplace, and when people pay $100 for a card one day, it's reasonably expected to sell for roughly $100 the next day. Of course, certain things change the market. Many things change the market. But ultimately, when you have a marketplace, you know how much things are selling for. That's roughly how much they're going to go for immediately thereafter. It has nothing to do with eBay. It just happens to be that you can look up comparable sales on eBay. Although you should be looking at 130 point for buy it now, because buy it nows almost never sell for the buy it now price. I shouldn't say almost never, but oftentimes don't sell for the buy it now price. And eBay doesn't show what they actually sold for. 130 point does. All right, this is a really interesting case. This guy he tried to take a BGS 9.5 Kobe Bryant 1996 Topps card. BGS 9.5. He cracked it and he wanted to see if he could get a 10 with PSA. Came back an 8 from PSA. No big deal. He even acknowledged he may have damaged the corner when cracking. He didn't think he did, but you never know, right? When you're cracking a card. So then he decided to send it back to BGS, hoping he would get a 9.5 again, but it came back a 9 with centering of 9, which is wild because the centering originally on this subgrade shows right here was 10. You can damage the edges, you can damage the surface, you can damage the corners when you're cracking a card, especially twice. He cracked it, but you can't damage the centering. And they at one point graded it a 10 on centering, and now they're saying it's a 9. I I don't understand that. How does that happen? Somebody explain it to me. Did their grading standard for centering change that much that not only did it not get a 10, it didn't get a 9.5, it got a 9? These are always fun for me when dual autograph players talk to each other in the autograph boxes. Bobby Witt Jr., can you show me your workout plan to Jack Caglione? And then he wrote, definitely going to have to chase this in the clubhouse. And then another one, Bobby Witt said, you have way better handwriting than me. And Caglione wrote, can't believe they put me on a card with you. It's fun. Will Stern, yeah, I always talk about this. I love this. When you've got an MLB debut patch and you can see the guy wearing it, to me, that's fun. Cam Schlittler, which is a difficult name to say. Carefully, you gotta say it carefully. First, this was his debut start. Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones, original scene specific whip from Raiders of the Lost Ark, currently at Golden. No bids yet. Starting bid $250,000. It's bad. I don't remember if I saw. No, I guess I didn't. There are a bunch of Indiana Jones things actually. So it's a big Indiana Jones auction. Nothing else that was as big as that. They're all low value items. Oh shoot, I lost this one. This was this Bronny James patch card where it says leave on the patch. Somebody at Panini cut this up. Maybe they work for the Lakers. They're a Lakers fan and they want him to leave. Probably not. It's just in good fun. But I looked this up. This is a Kobe Bryant jersey or commemorated Kobe Bryant that Bronny James wore, and it said "Leave a legacy," and they cut it up to say "Leave." I just thought it funny. There it is. I've got a little duplicate situation going on. Topps is showing that Chan-Ho Park is back and signing autographs for the first time in more than 20 years. So if you're a Chan-Ho Park fan, you can get some of his autographs in this upcoming set, which is pretty cool. Paul Skeens, rookie patch auto. Look at that patch. Game used. Great autograph. great patch. Greg from Midlife Cards, who collects Pirates things, not the team Pirates, but actual Pirates, might like this patch. And then Pete Crow Armstrong, similarly, with this great Cubs patch, also a game used in Dynasty. Rookie card. Great. He's got a great autograph. And last but not least, great. This is Huckleberry Esquire. Has completed the 40 card Topps Chrome 2024 update home field advantage, all in PSA 10s. And the interesting thing is he bought 34 of them raw and sent them off to PSA and got 10s out of them. And he had to buy 6 of them in PSA 10 already. Yeah, just I really enjoy seeing people when they finish collections like that. It's neat. It's a fun thing. So I appreciate you guys watching. We are less than 3 weeks away from the national, 2.5 weeks away, which is crazy. I'll have a video out with my national plans. No tips. I'm not going to be doing tips like wearing deodorant and comfy sneakers. It's been done a bazillion times, but I'm just going to be doing a video on what I expect to be doing myself, what I'll be shooting for cards, where I'll be. If you want to meet up, which would be awesome. Um, yeah, I got a bunch of stuff over the next 2.5 weeks that I'm excited to be doing. And I hope you're subscribed. I will see you all soon. Have a great Sunday.